Hello, how you doing? I'm Craig Parkinson. You are listening to the Two Shot Podcast. Sit yourself down, pop the kettle on. We're going to have a nice old chat. Who's it with this week? I'm going to tell you right now. How the devil are you? It's Thursday. You're here. Everything good? You all right? Good week? Fantastic. Good news. I am recording this in a hotel in London, and I'm looking out over the window. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's a beautiful day. Did you need to know that information? I don't know. It's episode 56. That's the information you need to know, and it is with the fantastic Susan Wokoma. We met Susan in our regular place in Maison Bertaux. Big shout out Tanya Wade for letting us use the basement there. And she came to meet us. She'd had a big long day in the writer's room, which is something we talk about, something she's doing at the moment. And we talked it out, man. We talked it out. It was fantastic. Great to spend time with her, and I think you're really going to love the episode. I want to say thank you to you for downloading and subscribing. You know how much it means to me and producer Griff. And all your comments and your messages for Carl Pilkington last week. What an absolute belter. Not really much of a thank you to the person who took it off YouTube and put it on something else and then put on a load of adverts. That's not really cool, is it? But anyway, that's going to be sorted. Let's not worry. As you may or may not know, we are doing the Manchester Podcast Festival on October the 5th, 7:30 in Manchester. I announced our guest this week. Finally, we've made it work. It's the one and only Mr. Ralph Little. It's going to be a brilliant natter. Go to manchesterpodcastfestival.com. Get your tickets for the Two Shot Podcast with myself and Ralph. Producer Griff will be there. And I think I'm right in saying there might be a few past Two Shot Podcast guests coming along. So that'll be nice to see them. Always nice. And it'll be nice to see you. So please do come and join us. It'll be great. Well, I think we should get down to it, don't you? This is episode 56 with Susan Wokoma. I love it. See you at the end. Obviously, my words fell on fucking deaf ears, didn't they?
I don't give a shit about you, man.
Oh, man. They've
got louder.
They seemed to be really nice when I did it. I'll just go up and go, we've just started. All right.
Okay. I know. I don't read that.
Thanks so much. I just hit record, so thanks so much. All right, cheers. Are you okay? Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So you all right?
I know.
Wiping his cream cap
I literally felt that. It felt good, though. Yeah.
It's nice to have some power sometimes, isn't it? I get it very rarely these days.
I feel like that moment made me feel like in school, like when someone's about to have a fight and somebody says, your mum is a fucking... And you just, me in the back goes, ooh,
it's gonna go. Did you feel it from up there?
Yes, that's right.
Were you recording that, Griff? Fucking, that's the way to start a podcast, isn't it? Yeah. Listen to me. I have no power in my life. The little I can do is go,
can you
please just shut the fuck up a minute while I just talk to somebody.
I love it. I felt really at school.
How are you?
I'm good.
You have a good day?
Yeah.
Tell me what you're doing right now, because it's interesting to me.
Right.
You don't have to divulge too many secrets, but it's nice.
What am I doing? Well, I've joined a writer's room, which is something that is, as far as I know, is very American. So it's basically when a show has a series, rather than relying on one writer, you get a room full of writers, you bounce off ideas. Some of you have guaranteed an episode that you're going to write, some of you don't. And yes, this is for a Netflix show. Can't say what it is. But yeah, it's literally 4 new writers, 2 of the regular writers, producer in the room, and we're literally just going, maybe if this character, or what if this character? It's just real basic,
Just
using your imagination,
literally throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, like the good, the bad, and the bad ideas. Me, I'm talking about me.
No, I know, but the thing is, it's like with everything, isn't it? You've got to go through the bad.
Yeah.
And not be afraid.
Yeah. Yeah.
With regards you're in the writer's room, whatever.
Yeah.
Whether you're acting or you're painting or you're writing a song.
Totally.
It's going to be shit.
I know.
But only can you scrape away the rubbish and go, oh, it's half decent, actually.
Exactly.
I'm not 100% proud of it, but...
Yeah. But I'm getting better at, like, when I say a really rubbish idea, I just stick to it and I keep bringing it up, just at least for comedic value. I'll be like, so the reason why that sheep should definitely fuck her ear is because it will bring nuance to it. I just keep repeating it.
See, I definitely watch a show like that. There's not enough sheep doing
Fucking
that
is.
on telly.
I know.
But is it different? It's a different world, though. With other people, do you think?
It is. I mean, what they've done is there's a good mix of predominantly writer performers. So there's something about us coming up with stories and thinking about people actually having to do them and words that people actually have to say. Whereas sometimes I think with writers, they don't think about actually what sounds realistic coming out of someone's mouth. Whereas I'm constantly thinking, you know, is that completely stupid? But yeah, no, it's completely different. And it's I'm doing it for a month. It's like the most 9 to 5 my life has ever been. Ever.
So is it odd to have that structure in your life at this moment?
Do you know what? It's come at a really good time. It's come at a really, really good time because it's still it is absolutely creative. You are literally just thinking about the bare bones of story, which is really exposing. So it's creative, but you're just sat around the table. And but it came at a point where I needed to learn from other people. I needed to have some structure, and I know because it's a very short amount of time. I think that's why I'm able to mentally do it.
And also commit to that. To that 4 weeks.
Yeah, and I've had to go. All right, I'm not doing any acting bits and bobs. I'm going to do this. And it's been really good for me because it's been fucking good.
And in a way, it's kind of scary but freeing at the same time, I suppose.
Yeah, because there are things that you're like, oh no, you're not free for. Oh, you can't do that. Oh no, you can't. And you're just a bit like, nope. This is what I need to do. And also, I'm taking me being a writer really fucking seriously, and that means that you have to. I've always had a weird relationship with it. I've only been writing the last couple of years, and because I'm working class, so. I have to, what I found really hard with writing is when you're at the point of, you know, being commissioned, you're not getting paid enough to afford rent.
No.
And I'm lucky that acting is something by and large that can cover rent. So it's been really hard to find something to commit to and not act because I'm like, well, it isn't, how can you offer me a couple of grand to develop something for over the course of 18 months? It's like, no, I've got to keep doing other stuff.
Yeah.
So this has been good because it just means I am going to knuckle down and focus on.
And also, it's kind of fulfilling in a different way, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not to put thoughts or feelings into, you know, it's fulfilling into it.
Isn't it? You have a good time, aren't you? Yeah. It is. I've always been cautious about jumping on other people's stories because I've been largely writing my own stuff. So this is also an experiment of whether, can I do this? Can I join a room and write on something that isn't my creation?
But I suppose it's different. Everybody has different process.
Yeah.
You know, whatever forms that they do. And if you go after this month, I'm not sure about that in the room. Or, I'm absolutely vibing it because we're bouncing the balls of ideas off each other all the time and something good's going to come of it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I've definitely gone into this I don't know what is going to happen at the end or how I'm going to feel about it in the end.
But I think that's exciting.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Because only something positive will come at the end of it. Whatever it will be, it's got to be positive. It can't fail.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me about growing up.
You
spoke about your working class then.
Yeah.
I'm always interested.
Yeah. Yeah, we did not have any money. We didn't. We just didn't. We did the. Oh God.
Where are we? We're in Southwark.
We're in Southwark. We're in southeast London. So
Right.
born in a hospital, obviously. Born in a hospital.
I don't know. My son was born in the front room of our old house.
Was he?
Yeah.
I've always wanted that, but then you didn't see our house was mashed up. If I was born there, I would have got a fucking tetanus. Sorry, Mum. It's true. No, we did the best with what we had. No, I was born in, we lived in Peckham when I was born, Peckham, then Camberwell, and then Elephant and Castle, which is where my mum is now. Been there over 25 years. My parents, Nigerian. I was born here. My older brother was born here. My older sister was born in Nigeria. So they'd been in London a little while. And my mum worked as a cleaner. My dad worked as a cleaner growing up. Each had about 3 jobs each. So it wasn't...
Just to survive and to get food on the table.
Yeah. And, we hadn't... I think the moment I realised we didn't have money was my second primary school in Camberwell. My dad was washing my school skirt, and we didn't have, I only had one, and by the time I woke up Monday morning, it was still wet. So he sent me to school in a jumper, my tights, and my shoes, and I didn't know. I didn't have a clue. I was just running around, and the teachers must have been like, "What the fuck?" Just you can see niggas, and I was just running around, and then one of the teachers went into lost property and got me a skirt.
Man alive.
Yeah, things like that. That was real. It got better as we got older.
Yeah,
definitely got better as we got older. But and also I kind of feel like I'm betraying my family a little bit by admitting that we didn't have money, because it's not an excuse. I mean, when we went out as a family to like family parties, or we looked good.
Yeah.
Like, we looked the fuck good. Like, we didn't, my mum always says, never look like your situation.
that's good.
Yeah, so good. It's just like, don't like, you fucking know if you're going through hell, don't advertise it. Not because there's shame in it, but because sometimes you have to walk it before
and also
you
for
feel
your
it.
own self-esteem.
Look after your ego and your self-esteem. That's one
yeah.
thing that I'll say about Nigerians, the Nigerians that I've met and been surrounded by, is the ego of these people. Like, my mum would be going through hell, but never did she question how beautiful she was. Ever. She was just always hot. She was just always gorgeous. And that was one, my mum could be a fucking nightmare, but it was one thing, she's like, you're beautiful. You know you are. Like, and would take pleasure if like a guy whistled at me or something like that. My mum would be like, see, you're mine. Of course. But,
That's pride, though.
yeah, but you've got to have something. But
Exactly.
and it feels real. And also, when I finally went back to Nigeria, I got it. Like,
When did you go back to Nigeria?
first time I went was, I did a film.
This was for work. You
Yeah, it's
went
for
back-
work, first time. Yeah.
How lucky is that?
Really weird. Because I wanted to go on my own. But my mum said, I've said this before, my mum just was convinced I'd get killed. And she was just, because you're stupid. You'll get into someone's car and they will slit your throat. So my mum would she just didn't want me to ever go. So I ended up going with a film. And then I went at the beginning of this year for another film, actually. It's been work both times. And
Isn't that amazing? Like,
Yeah,
with
man.
what we do, how lucky we are that we wouldn't travel to places that we may or may not want to go.
no, just it's amazing. And I met all my family on that trip as well. Yeah, grandparents.
How was that?
Cousins. It was mad. It was really weird. And because my dad died during film, he died the morning I landed.
No way.
So the production company were really great, and they sent me off to meet my family when I had like 5 days off. So I met everybody, and the weirdest thing was just I couldn't get over how black everyone was. Everyone was just black. Like, I didn't stand out until I opened my mouth. I was just like everyone else, which made me realise how much I don't feel that when I'm at home in London.
Do you feel that you did you feel that you stood out growing up when you were a kid?
Not really, because of where we grew up.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was working class, whether you were white or black. My mum and my dad took us to church, so everyone at church looked like us. It wasn't until, I didn't really experience feeling other in a race way until a lot later. But I felt other in that I was quite quiet, and I've got a very loud family. And
When were you quiet?
I was quiet. I was quiet. I was quiet. Why was I fucking quiet? I was quiet. I was quiet because my family was so loud.
Right, okay, so you couldn't really compete with that?
No, and I learnt very quickly don't bother. At school I was loud as fuck.
Because you could be.
Yeah. But it was like split personality. I was
Yeah.
completely different at home to how I was at school.
But sometimes you kind of adapt to your surroundings, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, you do, which is what I did. And I thrived in school. So I felt like I got mostly what I felt I did. I felt that I got all that I needed at school that I didn't really need from home. And then, of course, you grow up and realise.
But even though, from your own admission, like, it was a poor household.
Yeah, it was.
But obviously, a couple of very hard-working parents. But
Yeah.
it sounds to me that it was a happy environment. Or...
Not really.
Right.
Not really.
Well, I've completely read that situation.
Yeah, you read it wrong, mate. No, not that it was. I think it simplifies it, saying whether it was happy or sad. I think one of the things that you can't escape if you're the child of immigrants is, and especially working class immigrants, is that my parents worked so hard that there was no room for sentimentality. There was nothing really. They just didn't have the time to sit me down on their knee and tell me story. Like I know surprisingly, like embarrassingly little about Nigeria. That's been stuff that I've had to acquire because my parents were sitting down going, oh, when we were back home, this is what happened. And they were just working all the time. They just wanted to work and to become doctors and whatnot. And because of that, I think there was a lot missing where we had to adhere to cultural values, but we weren't necessarily taught them.
Right.
So there was always a barrier there. But I think the main thing that was hard was my dad really believed in like getting a gold star. He really believed in that if you work hard, you'll achieve X, Y, Z.
Okay.
And then as he grew up, he grew up with us. He just realised that isn't the case. Things are not fair.
No.
And it made him really angry.
So was he angry of the injustices in the world or the injustices
to him?
To him.
Yeah, I think so. I think his life wasn't meant to be what it turned out to be. He worked himself to death.
Right.
He did. By the end, he was still working 2 jobs, and he was going from his 9 to 5, and then went on a Friday night, and then went over to do his weekend job at the Royal Festival Hall as a security guard, and had a stroke in between. Like that wasn't how it was meant to end for him.
No, of course not.
And so there was a lot of disappointment and anger, I think, there. Which I understand now. I totally understand now. But as a kid, you're just like, why are you mad?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, bless him. Bless him. I sort of wish it came good.
And did you think at the time that you were missing any sort of connection?
Yeah, I did.
With
I
him?
totally did. I thing is, I was really lucky because I found, I don't know how, but I had loads of like mentors and teachers who were like, you should do this and you should apply for this. And have you heard of, and that was the time where there was loads of things. There were loads of groups and, initiatives where you could do, 5 drama classes or whatever. There was loads of stuff like that
going on.
There were loads. So I did feel like I got it elsewhere, but it also meant that once I sort of discovered drama, it became very separate to my family. I didn't ever feel, it was weird being with other kids in shows where it meant so much to invite their parents, where I wouldn't even tell them what I was doing because it felt very separate. Because
that was your thing, or you didn't think it would get approval?
Both.
Were you scared of not getting the approval or getting that door shut for you?
I didn't need the approval. I really didn't. I thought I was more likely to be allowed to get on with it if I didn't cause a ruckus. Like, my main thing was if I'm going to go out and... I remember when I got a place at National Youth Theatre and you have to pay money to do your course. And I didn't know that when I auditioned.
Yeah.
So I was like, the main thing is that I will be allowed to go out and do this drama thing if I don't ask for money. So I had to apply for like different loans and grants and stuff to be able to pay for my course. And so it was always money. If I didn't bug them for money, they didn't really have a leg to stand on in terms of what I was going out and doing, because I wasn't like going out and shooting up. Like I just wasn't.
Yeah.
I was a good kid. So my aim was always, don't give them don't depend on them, and then they'll just let you do it.
God, it sounds to me like you were kind of forced to grow up a bit faster than what you should have been, really.
I think so. But I think it's also like my parents from very early on, and I think this is the case for a lot of immigrant parents, where they're like, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? They start asking you that question super early.
Right.
And they ask you it seriously. It's not like, what do you want to be? A wrestler? Oh, amazing. Or, do you know what I mean? It's actually, what do you want to be? Your options are doctor, lawyer, nurse, if you fancy, accountant, if you like.
Good, solid, stable careers.
It has to be good, solid, stable. But, and so I think I said the mistake of a doctor at 10, and then it stuck.
Did it?
Yeah, it stuck, like seriously stuck. I was 10, I didn't know what I was saying. I think I watched DR and thought, that looks fun. Not really.
Knockabout with Clooney.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Perfect.
But I didn't understand I didn't understand acting. I just thought, being a doctor is cool. And having explosive storylines. That's being a doctor.
But it was obviously in you at some point. It was obviously there slowly.
It was really slow, but if I'm being really honest, the only reason why I'm an actor is because people told me I was good at it. Because I was good at it. I was good at it. People go, you're good at it. I'd be like, oh, brilliant. I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not, and I'm trying to change this about me. If I don't have a natural aptitude for something, I'm like, bollocks.
What, you just sort of just throw the towel in?
The amount of I had piano lessons at school, didn't have a natural knack for it, stopped. Drums, didn't have a natural knack, stopped. Trombone, didn't have a natural. If I don't feel an instant connection and gel, and there isn't obvious capability in something, I just go fuck it. And with acting, I always knew on some degree. I was like, no, I'm good at this.
Jeez, you sound like my son. He's had 3 piano lessons. He's gone, nah, I'm not feeling it. I went, you're 7 years old. Who do you think you are? I said, you've got to keep trying.
Nah, I'm with your son on that one.
No, don't listen to Susan if you listen. He won't listen to this. He's fine. He's 7. He's not allowed.
But no, I was terrible. I remember with my GCSEs, I was like, right, okay, I need to get these grades, so I need to just get the bare minimum for that one. I'll really hit that subject. I was so aware of what I was good at and what I wasn't, because I think that was something I was forced to start questioning so early.
Yeah.
So I remember literally negotiating. I was like, right, so maths, I need to get a C. And I was put on the higher paper, and back then the higher paper, you could either get an A star, A, B, or fail. And I was like, no, I need to get a C for maths. So I had to go to school and say, can I be put on the intermediate paper? They said no, because they're like, you can do it. I was like, no, trust me.
I don't want to.
My brain won't do it. My brain, if I don't like something, it's not going to do it.
And also, if you've set your goals, then you know what you have to hit, and that's what you want to hit.
And I generally don't think it was limiting myself. I knew that I didn't have the interest to work hard at maths. And I also sort of knew it wasn't going to be in my future. So I had to end up paying to change my paper from higher to intermediate. My school made me pay.
They made you pay?
Yeah. I think they thought I wasn't going to cough up, and I just said,
and then you did?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I was not fucking around. I was like, how much, bitch? Basically. So I did, yeah.
So what was the goal then? To do those, to leave school?
Well,
what were you thinking at that time? Because it certainly wasn't going to be a doctor.
No. Well, by that point, I knew I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
By that point, and there was a Saturday drama group that I used to go to. It was funded by English National Opera. When they had, I don't know whether they still have. Again, all these things have disappeared now. They used to have an education sector called E&O Bayliss. They ran this Saturday drama group. I think you paid £20 at the beginning of the term, and I used to just save my pocket money. Again, don't ask your parents; they'll let you do it.
But which, in the grand scheme of things, is nothing.
Yeah,
nowadays,
nothing.
And that's amazing. I've spoken to so many people, older than you, and it was like £1 for a session. Every Saturday. Sometimes even free, because ran by the government, which is great for the children. It's, you know, even if they don't want to do it as a profession,
Yeah,
they're just letting
doesn't
things out
matter.
and they're feeding something, and
Doesn't
it
matter.
can just go.
But yeah, loads of those things don't exist. So it's so annoying because I do loads of mentoring for National Youth Theatre and at RADA, and when people, well, RADA is sort of at RADA then, but like for National Youth Theatre where people go, young kids go, right, so what did you do? And I was like, well, I had all these things, and this is not that long ago.
And also, even in that small amount of time, it's changed.
Yeah, so much
So what's
stuff
going to
can
be
come.
like in another 5 or 10 years?
I'm finding it harder and harder to give words of like advice, because the only reason why I'm an actor is because I had the kindness of teachers and mentors who said, go and do this course and go and try this. And that is the only way. I had no relationship to acting otherwise. How would I have known? It's really sad. It's really sad. That's the only way I'm an actor.
You wouldn't want to stick it. Would you want to try it now?
Absolutely not. Now? What's starting now? Like being a kid now?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, the thing actually, not maybe...
Knowing what you know, how it is now to try and get in.
It's changed so much. I think in the last 5 years, it's just become a whole different game. I think the good thing now is that there's so much more visibility than there was. So you can switch on the TV and you can see black actors. Like that was one of the hardest things, was that I'd switch on the telly and I wouldn't see me. That was really hard. Now you can sort of see it and believe it. I think that's great. But I think that, you know, I remember my first TV job was when I was 17. So just before I went to RADA. And, you know, I got paid more for that than you do for telly jobs now. Like, it's just
everything's
changed.
Hasn't it?
Like, you can do like 6 telly jobs in a year and get like 12 grand for it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you're busy and your CV looks nice and bulky, but what the fuck are you getting paid for it?
And lots of people just think you're really rich.
Yeah. And you're like, you didn't see my tax bill. But I think that is, but I think what people are getting really good at is like people younger than me. It's like everyone's about their side hustle. Everybody's so open about like, okay, what's the other thing that I do as well as acting? Like, I know loads of people have started up self-tape companies, so they get actors over, and they put themselves on tape and send everything off to their agent, and they do that for a fee, and headshots and blah, blah, blah. Like, people are so proactive. And I think that's one of the reasons why I started writing, because I was like, I don't audition for a lot. I just get a lot of the jobs that I audition for.
Right.
That's the truth. I don't, like, in comparison to my white friends, I don't get that many auditions at all. I just get a lot of the jobs that I go for. And yeah, that sounds impressive, but I'm like, I know what happens to women once you turn 35.
Yeah.
I've been told that story. So I was just thinking, it does start from a selfish place of, you know, there isn't enough roles, and it shouldn't just be about me getting that job. I want it to be, I want to meet other black women on the same job rather than always be one of us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
it's between me and her again. Oh, right, great.
I fucking hate that.
Yeah.
And I just thought it isn't enough me just being lucky at the moment. I was like, there needs to be more stories created.
Do you think that's happening? Do you think anything's changing? Because there's, you know, especially over the last 18 months, you know, there's talk. And a lot. Talking's great because that's the starting point, but we can only talk so much.
So much. I think there's been a lot of change for women because there's so many women writing. But I really strongly believe that the change is only going to happen when the people running, you know, channels are different and do not all go to the same 5 schools.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that those schools don't produce brilliant brains, but they just, everywhere that you look at high up at production companies and at channels and networks and stuff, they're all kind of cut from the same cloth. And I think that it needs to diversify there, otherwise it isn't true diversity.
And also you've got to look at who's writing the scripts.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm writing now.
Well, I was really shocked. I did I was part of a drama at the beginning of the year, and it was very, very female led, from all sorts of walks of life.
Yeah.
And there was some statistic, and forgive me because I can't remember the exact percentage of just female writers, but it was much lower. I'll find out the percentage and I'll put it on the intro or the outro to this episode, probably the outro. But it was very, very low.
Yeah.
I mean, it was less than half, and it's like, well, most of those are just sort of white middle class voices.
Yeah, yeah.
Because there was a time when there wasn't a lot of northern voices, and I went, oh well, I feel a bit. I'm not from there, so I don't feel there's anyone talking to me, and it just sort of changes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, well, when's it going to change for everybody else? Because I'm fucking bored of seeing what I'm seeing, to be honest. Because that does not represent what I know and where I live.
Yeah, I always believe it starts at the top,
yeah.
And if there's not, so sometimes I feel a bit like. When people, like, for instance, when I started taking writing seriously and I started going on all these, like, meetings, everybody wanted to meet me. And I had, like, this really hot pilot script and everybody wanted to meet me. I went on so many fucking meetings. And I just
Talk.
Yeah, I had to stop. I actually had to say to my literary agent, I was like, and now we don't do meetings anymore because I'm only interested if you want to make my thing. But people just they don't want to put their money where their mouth is, I think.
But they like to be seen to be having the discussion.
Yeah.
Oh, of course I've
met
her.
We met with that person.
Oh, I love her.
Oh, we had her in the other day. Oh, I read her script. It's fantastic.
Oh, you like it too?
Oh, you liked it?
Yeah.
It's like, well, make it then.
Yeah.
And I'm being really careful about the people that I actually go and meet. They have to have an interest in making a very specific story.
And also an interest in you as a writer.
Yeah.
Because as you said before, you're not writing this to get you on there. You're writing it to open the door for other people as well.
That was a very quick realization, because I was like, look, I see the need for more diverse voices, and of course I'm going to write for myself, but actually in writing I can't help but make it diverse, not because I'm being PC, but because that is actually what I grew up, and that's what I know, and I really believe write what you know. And so there is a role for loads of people. There's a role for loads of people.
Yeah.
And that feels, and knowing that I'm doing that genuinely, and not because I'm forced or because I'm ticking a box, but because it's making this story better, is really, to know that I can do that is really nice. And I've just learned that sometimes you just need to write the character and you put exactly where they're from, or exactly what they look like, exactly where they're from in the UK. You have to do that. Otherwise, if you leave that alone, the list of people who end up...
it gets interpreted as, oh, right, them again.
They're the lead, so obviously it's going to be...
There's those 5 people.
Yes, exactly.
As the norm.
I'm so... I've just done my first short film, which I'm so excited about.
What, that you directed?
No, I didn't direct it. I didn't feel brave enough to do it, but I produced it, I've written it, and I'm in it. I've actually done a bit of an Eddie Murphy. I'm playing, like, 2 roles in it.
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Well, if you're gonna jump in the pool, jump in the big pool. Don't get in the baby pool.
As I was doing it, I was like, "Is this completely egotistical? Is this bad? Is this bad?" And I was like, "No, it's great.
No,
it's all right." I'm very proud of it.
You should be proud of it.
I'm really proud of it.
Good news.
But it was really interesting with the casting. Well, I didn't have a casting director. I casted it. I was like, these are the people. And it was a mix of, like, Daisy May Cooper's in it.
Brilliant.
Just a favour. I was like, please, I know you're really busy. Can you come and do this? She was like, absolutely. And there was like one actress who I saw her in a play last year. She was absolutely brilliant. And then she hasn't really done anything since. In fact, she got dropped by her agent shortly after the play, because actually she's amazing. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this. So her agent wanted her to play.
You haven't mentioned her name, so it's fine.
Yeah, so it's all right in it. Yeah, it's all right in it.
Otherwise, we can always bleep it out.
Yeah. But her agent wanted her to play like a really shit, horrible slave part that had like 2 lines and be on tour for like 5 months. And this young girl said no. She exercised her early right. She was like, no. Good. Our agent dropped her.
Well, fuck them.
Yeah. But I didn't know this at the time. I just thought she was so good in that play. Where is she? And I had to go on Twitter and be like, can you tell me where this girl is? Found her. Found that out. I had no idea it was her first TV role doing this thing. But even her, like, you know, the channel were like, we don't know who she is. And I was like, well... Oh,
sorry, this was for
my
broadcast?
Short. But yeah, this is for broadcast. Yeah, this is going to be on telly.
Right, okay. Right, okay.
Yeah. But they were just like, oh, cool. Who is she? We don't know who she is. And I was like, well...
Yeah, you will do.
Yeah, you will do. I was like, trust me, you don't want to let go of this. But I was like, right, we'll put her on tape. But she's literally the only person we're putting on tape. So, and we're very close to shooting. So I don't know if you don't like her. I don't know what you're gonna do.
You better take the box quick.
And she absolutely smashed it.
Of course she did.
She absolutely smashed it. And like my other mate, who's only out of drama school a couple of years, again, they were like, we don't know who she is. And actually with her, I didn't get her to tape. I was just like, oh, I've already told her I've cast her. Oh, no. Oh, God. I guess she's going to just have to do it. That's actually what.
Did you see
They were great, though.
Did you see a different side when you were putting that sort of producer-writer hat on?
Yeah, I did.
You see everything from a different angle?
Well, I guess I realised that. The biggest thing that I realised is, look, I've written this thing, me. It's very autobiographical, me. But you've got all these other people who are now on board who's going to try and make your thing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people who are not sleeping, people who, you know, are dealing with my emails and costumes emails and the art department's emails all the time for your thing. So to sort of stride around going me is rude. Because everyone's working on it.
Yeah, and everybody's got their own departments.
Exactly. Yeah. And so very sort of naturally, I wanted people to care about it as much as I did. That meant listening to what people had to say. And, you know, if costume had a really good idea, or if the art department had a really good idea or a suggestion, I just wanted people to have ownership over it like I did. Of course, there were certain points where I was like, nah, step off. That ain't gonna work. Good, like, well done, but no.
I like where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's really interesting, but that's not it, is it? I'm sorry. But I had, I'm saying all this, but I had the most incredible team who really listened. It was so, I only really like collaborating. I don't really want to be the person at the back with like a megaphone going, I'm very good at negotiating.
Yeah, but that's when ego does come into it.
Yeah.
And we've all sort of worked with those people in whatever department they are. At some point, luckily, very personally, for 21 years, very few.
But yeah, I just love working with people. And
that's what it's all about, isn't it? It should all be about collaboration.
Do you know, at my drama school, my showcase, I remember, so it was a showcase when all the agents and producers and casting directors come and see you in your final show, and we're meant to do a monologue and a duologue. And I just had this epiphany where I was like, fuck doing a monologue. Who wants to stand there and be like, my dad died, daddy, and black? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I don't like doing that. I'm going to do 2 duologues. And I remember one of the teachers saying to me, are you sure you want to do that? Because you don't really stand out and you need your moment to stand out. And I said, I was like, look, I feel comfortable when I'm watching somebody on stage having a good time, like they're enjoying it. And
also having a believable conversation, whatever it is.
Thank you.
Because that's what it's all about.
That's all that is, for me anyway. And so I just said...
No, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Well, for some people it isn't, is it?
Well, that's when we go back to the ego, isn't it? Because when I'm acting in my own bubble and it should all be about me.
And the thing is, I don't think I'm without ego. I think I've got a tremendous ego. But I know that I learned so much from other actors. I love actors. People think that actors are wankers and lovey-dovey. I love, I mean, some of them are wankers, but I love actors.
I'm sorry, you can't see this as a podcast, but I've got my hand up in front of Susan's face with 4 fingers and a thumb. That's 5. And maybe not even 5, do you know what I mean, over so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, very few and far between. That's why I find them so interesting, which is why when I'm doing this, we very rarely sort of get into the nitty-gritty about jobs, because that's boring, and that's when it becomes egocentric. Whereas this, we're talking about the human conditions and people's journeys.
The human endeavour of acting is mad.
I know, but it's exciting and it's interesting.
I love it. And I have, I feel, and just more and more, I just want to hug every actor that I meet, because it's so hard. And, I had to give up, like a lot of people, I had to give up a lot to do this. And so I love being on stage with other actors, but I had to fight to do that.
Yeah.
I had to fight to do that, but I knew.
Which is odd, isn't it?
Odd.
If you think about it, even though you thought it was odd at the time.
Yeah. But I guess they just wanted me to shine, really.
Yeah.
Have my moment.
Well, there's many ways that you can shine, and you probably did much better.
Yeah, I know. I my plan worked. I signed with a really good agent that I'm still with.
Of course.
Who I love. But But yeah, doing this short film has been, even when I got like notes that I just was like, you fucking what? No. But it was there were moments where I was like, actually, no, if you want that, if that is really important to you, I'll give you that in exchange for this doesn't change.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were like, cool. All right. But it was actually...
With one hand, you know, that's what it's got to be.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that. And I didn't feel... And I do not feel like we've sacrificed it. In fact, it's been elevated. The best advice I got was don't be around people who you think that you can be cleverer than and boss around. You need people who are going to try and elevate you.
Of course, because we're always learning in whatever aspect we do, whatever hat we've got on. And that's, you know, one of the plus sides.
Yeah.
You know, of course there's loads of downsides, but you can think of 5 downsides and then one plus side will come up and you'll just forget about all those downsides. You go, oh, yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about drama school then, and that's really important to me because of coming where you come from.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah.
And...
yeah.
You went to RADA.
I went to RADA. I got into the RADA.
You got into the RADA. You didn't get the grant though, did you?
No.
No.
No, I had to get a fucking loan. I was so pissed off about that.
Grants were...
Yeah, they were gone. They were gone by then. Yeah. They were gone by then. So I had a loan. So I was going to be... Well, that was it.
So you loaned it? You loaned it up?
Yeah, I'm paying that back.
Right.
But I just figured, look, I'm going to be in as much debt as somebody who goes to Oxford or goes to Bristol.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to go to drama school. So I had a year out after sixth form and applied and got into RADA really quickly. So I knew what I was going to do in that September really quickly.
Were you working in that sort of in that year?
Yeah, I worked at Madame Tussauds.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and the plan was, the excuse was, I'd lied to my parents and said, oh, I'm going to go to Bristol University, but I want to defer my year and work and save up to go. And they were like, amazing.
They didn't know.
9 o'clock. They were like, brilliant. So you're just going to work and save? I was like, yeah. I was applying for drama school.
Right.
So, and I was working to pay for the auditions because obviously you have to pay for the auditions. Yeah. So I know, and they've even got more expensive. I mean,
I know.
It's not good. It's not good. But I did that, but luckily, money-wise, I got into RADA really quickly. So I think I'd only auditioned for Guildhall and RADA. I got my recall for Guildhall, then got into RADA. So I had to cancel I said to Guildhall, I've got into RADA. Yeah. So actually I saved loads of money to burn.
And time and travel, of course.
Yeah. So that was good. But I had to keep it secret. I remember finding out on the bus 453 in Elephant Castle, getting a call from Nicholas Barter, who was the principal of RADA then, saying, oh, Susan, just calling to say that you've got into RADA. We'd love to offer you a place. And because I hate speaking on the phone on the bus. I get really nervous. So I was on the phone. I went, yep, okay.
She's a bit cold, isn't she?
And then he went, are you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm just on the bus. He's like, oh, okay. Well, congratulations. I was like, yep, okay, all right, okay, bye. I walked home on a cloud, and I couldn't tell anyone. Didn't tell anyone.
You didn't tell anyone?
No. I think I told my older sister. So my older sister does musical theatre. She was always a singer. Right. And the thing is about singing versus acting is that with singing, you just open your mouth and a voice comes out. So people go, oh, you're talented. Whereas with acting, I can't just stand in the living room and do a speech. And also, certain people find that good and certain people won't. Whereas a good singing voice, I think, is ultimately... you can just hear it. Yeah. So that was sort of her passion. And at that point, she was sort of moving from being a singer to theatre. So I thought, after about two weeks after I got in, and I hadn't told anyone, I think I told a couple of friends, and that was it. And I thought, oh no, I better I'll tell my sister. And I remember telling her, and she was like, oh, okay, let me speak to mum about it. So she spoke to my mum separately about it. And then my mum...
What, on your behalf?
On my behalf. Because she knew it was going to kick off.
Right.
And I spoke to my mum, and my mum was just like, what is RADA? She was like, what is that? And I was like, well, Kenneth Branagh went there. She's like, who? I was like, Alan Rickman, Die Hard. She's like, oh, okay. And all the people I was listening were just white men. Yeah. So she's looking at me going, and where do you fit into all of that?
Why are you going here?
But the thing that helped is that it was Royal Academy. The Royal helped. She's like,
so
okay.
They like that.
She's like, it's proper.
Okay.
And so she said, just don't tell your dad. don't tell your dad. Do not tell your dad. So I was like, right, okay, not going to tell dad. And then I went, that summer, before I went to started term, I did a show, my final show with National Youth Theatre. And that was up in Manchester, in Salford. We were doing a play at the Lowry and just was having a fucking ball. We were just getting drunk and doing a show. It was great. I was having
being in Manchester.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fell in love with, oh God, I had such a good time there. And then I got a call from my dad and he went, oh, you've just got a letter. I was like, oh yeah. He's like, it's from RADA. And it was like the letter that you get that lists all the books and like all the like clothes.
And all that, yeah.
So it was, this is what you need for the start of term. So it was so obvious that I was going.
Yeah.
And he was like, are you going to drama school in September? And I said, yeah, I am. And he went, okay, when you come back, we have to talk about this. So got back from Manchester. My dad just said, if you're going to study at drama school, you can't live here. And he kicked me out.
No.
Yeah, he did. Which is so weird because I was only going to school like just off Tottenham Court Road.
Yeah.
It felt weird to not go home. It was quite strange. It was really, really odd.
That's awful.
I think he just felt so heartbroken because I was choosing a profession that is so difficult. And I guess us Western kids don't really, really understand what it's like to be without in the way that he does. And we're in this country where we get like a free education and free healthcare, and you can be, like I say, the gold star. You can be anything that you want to be.
Yeah.
And I'm choosing the hardest profession, which visibly, like in terms of visibility, there's no one like me. It seemed bonkers to him. And also, I think for my parents, we were like their pension.
Yeah.
You know, you put all into your children and then they become doctors and they look after you. And it was like, how are you going to look after me?
But your sister was singing.
Yeah.
And she was going into theatre.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm trying to sort of rationalise how you could have been treated like that and kicked out of the family home.
Well, my sister very early on showed talent with singing really early on.
Right.
So they're not monsters. They were like, right, that makes sense. But
Sure.
if I'm good at drama, but I'm also really good at science, why wouldn't you just pick science?
Because
Why
it's
would you pick
obviously
drama?
not fulfilling for you as a person.
But for them, it's like, but that's where the money is. That's where
Right.
you're not going to send your kid to school with no skirt. Like
Yeah.
we've had to do.
How did that affect your relationship with your mum?
It really badly affected it because I was angry at her. I thought she knew that I was going to RADA. She'd sort of given her blessing.
Yeah.
It was like, you're really stubborn. I know that you're going to try and make it work. And in that moment, she didn't go, come on.
Did you feel unsupported by her?
Oh, completely. That was the end of that. I never spoke about drama school. It was very hard going through drama school and not having any family to talk about weird stuff that would happen or things that I was unsure about. Or
did you talk to anybody about it at the time? Because you're starting a new journey. You're going to drama school and all that home life shit's just kicked off.
Well, I had teachers and mentors. It all comes back to that. A tremendous woman who's one of my closest friends still, called Maria Leaf. And she taught me at this Saturday drama group, the one that's sponsored by English National Opera.
Yeah.
So I met her at 14, went there every Saturday. And she only told me this, I think this year or last year, is when I'd always arrive slightly late, like 10 minutes late. And because I'd get the bus and the bus would take ages. Anyway, I was always there. I'd always arrive. And what I didn't know was that my dad used to call in the drama group and just like hurl abuse at them because like, what are you doing, my daughter? And and I had no idea. She never told me. She only told me like this year. I think it was this year or last year that they knew what was going on. But I'd always come into class and never show it. And they never brought it up. So I didn't know. So she knew. Actually, looking back, it makes sense. She said that I could live with her for my first term. Now that I know that she knew she actually knew the gulf of it, how opposed. And I think it's not to paint my dad out as a villain at all, and he's not alive, so it's not fair. But he was scared. He couldn't protect me in acting. He didn't understand it. This world where, you know, all you do is hear stories about actors falling off the wagon and this horrible thing happening and this, like, he couldn't, it's not a world that he could give me any advice, protect me. So if he just goes, all right, off you go, you do it on your own, then he doesn't feel helpless.
Did he feel that when he gave you that ultimatum,
Yeah.
that you were going to say, all right, well, I won't go to the drama school then?
Yeah. Actually, no, he knew me by then. I'm fucking stubborn. No, he knew it was get out. He knew it was leave. And I was fine with it. There wasn't an argument. Because actually I thought I can start this RADA place and be in an environment where I can concentrate. And when Maria said, here's a spare room, I knew that I'd be with somebody who, I mean, when I got into RADA, you know, what I didn't get at home, I got from her. She couldn't believe it that one of her kids has gone to, they got in.
Susan, how old were you at this point?
I was 19.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty young to have that fractured relationship with your parents, and also you're feeling great animosity towards your mum, and you're starting this new path. So you must have been putting on your suit of armour really early.
That shit was like made to measure, man.
Absolutely. I mean, the resilience and strength is unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know what? There's loads of moments in my career now where things haven't worked out and whatever, where I have to look back at the time and go, you're a boss, man.
Yeah.
Like, you're made, like, whatever you went through with your parents, they gave you really fucking strong DNA. Like, you did get a lot from them.
Yeah, of course.
Of course it did. And I have to say, like, it has come good. I remember I went out to LA, I think. I went out to LA at the beginning of the year, and I remember I was at the airport and I called my mum just to be like, yeah, about to get on the plane, love you, da-da-da. And she said, this is the most powerful thing. She was just like, I just want to say, I can't believe you're an actress. You said that you want to be an actress, now you're an actress. Mad. You just are. You said it and then you are.
Yeah, well, sometimes these things can happen, and if we don't say them, then we can never even begin to try and be them. Yeah. Whatever it is.
Yeah. But she's she thinks I'm utterly impressive. She thinks I'm a boss.
I think you are.
A proper boss.
I really fucking do.
But you know what was really good about having that separation was that my career never became about making my parents proud. Very quickly, I had to get rid of that. That was not helpful. It was non-existent.
Well, you weren't given a choice to get rid of it. It got rid of itself. It got rid of it for you, really.
But I think also if your dad does kick you up before you go to drama school, there could be a bit of you that's like, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And that didn't ever exist. If I just felt like, okay, I can get on with this without, the drama of arguments about it, or like wondering who my new druggy friends are, the new actory druggy friends. I just thought, okay, I can get on with it now, and just. So even to this day, I sometimes forget to tell my mum about jobs that I've got or things that I'm doing, because it is quite separate.
Well,
which
also
I think is helpful.
you started that path solo.
Yeah,
you didn't have that. All those other people starting RADA would have the support of their family, and you
more or
didn't
less.
Yeah, I mean, I'm generalising, obviously.
But no.
But you didn't.
No, didn't. We didn't at all. And at first, I think that was very freeing. Oh, God, I was naughty. Oh, I had a good time.
I bet you did.
I had a good time. I had a good time.
I've got Daisy May Cooper coming on here, so I'll get all the stories. So can't put anything out on me.
Oh, God. Actually, yeah, I'll have a look.
I've had Charlie on.
I know you have. Yeah. Are you going to get Daisy on?
Yeah, she's coming on.
Oh, God.
They're just finishing off a little bit of something.
She'll tell you some good stuff. Oh, my gosh.
Just to talk about your family again.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to ask, did you reconcile your relationship with your dad before he passed away?
Kind of. Bless him. I just got to a point where I was just getting on with it, and the phone was ringing a lot more than it ever had. Like, sort of, how are you doing? I'm like, fine.
After how long was this?
So that was like my whole time at drama school, so all the 3 years.
You weren't speaking?
We spoke a bit.
Right.
We spoke a bit.
Did he come and see you in anything?
Oh my God, yeah. He came to So third year, okay, this is a point. I think this is a point that died. That sort of, I want my family to be included in this thing. He came along to see.
Also, third year's a special time, and
everyone, you're meeting everyone's parents.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was very aware. I think the thing that made it even worse was my boyfriend at the time was in my year at drama school, so his parents were just always seeing him and stuff, and I was meeting them, and they were lovely, lovely people, and it just made me sort of go, I don't have somebody to introduce you to, so I invited my dad to our first show, which was a restoration comedy, Man of Mode.
Right, okay.
And, oh God, I mean, at best of times, I don't understand restoration comedies. So I remember, it was a really big thing to say, Dad, I'm going to get you a ticket. It's going to be at the box office. This is where the school is. Come along. And I thought he just wouldn't get anything at shit. He came out and he fucking loved it. He loved it. And do you want to know why?
Why?
It's because it's old worldy English, innit? It's academic.
Right,
you need a brain to understand that and to execute it. So he was just like, oh, that was
in
great.
His element.
Yeah. I was like, you and your gold star, like fucking whatever. Then I invited him to my next show. So I'm all like, yeah, oh my God, maybe my dad is going to be finally proud of me. Then I invited him to my next show, which was a play called Four by Christopher Shin. It's not particularly explicit. But there was one scene when I had to snog this guy in my ear and basically rip his trousers off and then climb on top of him, and then it all goes to black as I'm basically taking off my clothes. And I didn't think about that because I was so proud of the play.
Yeah.
And I had a really good time, and it was only the four of us doing this play. And and I just thought it was good work. I thought it was really good work. And I just didn't put two and two together. And afterwards, going out to the bar, and my dad's face was stone cold. He didn't say anything. He just turned to leave, walked out of the building.
What, when he saw you coming and then he turned to leave? He turned to leave.
I followed him out. I was like, oh, Dad, you all right? Didn't say anything until we got to Goode Street Station. Then he turned to me and it was just like, you are a whore. I was like, what? He's like, how can you, because he knew my boyfriend at the time as well, and he was just like, how can your boyfriend watch you do that? Do that with another man? Like,
that you couldn't separate?
Yeah, no. And then I thought, that's the last time. That's the last time I'm inviting to anything. We didn't even have, I couldn't even have an argument with him. I just thought, I didn't think about that, about like doing love scenes with your parents. I just thought that they would be all right with it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a big shock. That was a really big shock. Yeah. And I thought, oh, I don't want to ever come off stage and have to deal with that anymore.
No, should you?
Actually, do you know what? He did come and see a play. I did a play at the Royal Court. And it's my first play in London. And I'd done a play at the Royal Exchange in Manchester. And, but I'd done like quite a lot of telly. And after like coming out of drama school, and this was the point where I'd sort of pop up on TV, and he'd be like, Susan, you didn't tell us you're in Hobby City, you've made it, woo.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, really, it's got nothing to do with you. And he actually turned up to a play that I did at the Royal Court. And I remember being so nervous, and all the other actresses in the play, Wumi Masaku was one of them, and I was having a bit of a panic attack. Like my dad texted me, he's like, I'm outside. And I was like, I can't, like, I just don't want to deal with it. So Wumi went down actually before I did to speak to him and be like, hi, we're the actors in the thing, da, da, da. And I came downstairs, and because I had to play a young South African girl, and he just found it hilarious that I was playing another African, like I had to learn this South African accent.
Yeah.
So all he kept doing was like repeating my lines and like how cool it was. Like, you learned another African accent. That's so weird. And actually that was fine. That was fine. But I think I sort of was mental note, never bring him to something where I'm sexing up some buff man in his cake.
Yeah, if he can't separate that from his daughter, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of safer for everybody, really.
Yeah.
That must have been really shocking, though.
It was. I was really hurt. Also because I was so proud of it. And also I was like, Dad, you've had sex at least 4 times. Like, I know that because we're here. Like, come on. But yeah, no, that was a shock. I was quite surprised by that. I just sort of forgot.
Are there ever any times for you where you think, nah, I'm all right. I think I've done my bit with this now. I've got what I needed to get out of this.
With acting?
Yeah. I suppose I'm pussyfooting around the bad times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think the main thing initially was money. Oh, the first few years of drama school, even though I was getting jobs, it just was not covering stuff, covering rent. It just wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
And I remember there was several points in this. I was actually talking about it the other day. It's like this weird couple of years where I remember I had to buy like a massive jumbo pack of custard creams, which had to last me the week. And I thought that was a point. I was like, isn't it curious that all like the really bad food is the cheapest? I just like fucking ballooned during this time. I was like, I thought I had no food to eat, but it turns out it's just jammy dodgers.
Yeah.
And not having money, which used to drive me mad. Like I would, even when I was acting, I would do waitressing shifts at the weekend.
So you're in London?
Yeah.
It's really expensive.
Yeah. And it just was, I mean, things had just changed for young people.
Yeah.
When I left drama school, which was 2010, we were just really just leaving at the worst time.
Yeah.
We were leaving at the worst time. Things were really hard. Rent had gone from, at RADA, where I was like looking for rent for about, $425, $500 a month to being $700, $800 a month. Like that was what was happening. And it was really frustrating. Not having money actually became such a problem. Like not having enough money on my Oyster card and having to walk to auditions. Like that sort of thing was becoming, I was like, even if I love what I do, it's not the job that's forcing me away from it, but not having money is going to mean that I have to quit. I just can't afford to be an actor.
Yeah.
So that was really bad. And then there got to a point where when I started just living off acting, it became, you've done this one really big high profile job and now you have to, that's all the work that you do from there on in has to be at that level, which means keeping yourself more available for all this fancier work. Whereas I was just a worker bee. Like I'd always say to my agent, if there's like short films, workshops, readings, you always bring it to me because you don't know financially what I'm going through. So even now there'll be like this short film's come in and it's just a bit of money and there's never any judgment if I go, yeah, I'll do it because they understand that.
And also artistically, you don't want to get stale within yourself and you need to sort of, you can get up and you can write, but also you need to interact with those other people and keep the cogs oiled,
Yes. And I love doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so there was
and
just
also you don't know who you're going to meet and who you're going to work with.
Oh my God,
really
has that paid
exciting.
off for me a couple of times? Yeah. Really paid off for me a couple of times.
I'm getting paid £2.50 for this part, but it's only a couple of days.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
Because I've met this person and I really believe in her. I think she's going to be brilliant.
Yeah. And you have to make those decisions.
Know. Yeah.
And but there was a point where I did this Netflix show, and it just after that it was like, okay, cool. So now you have to make yourself available for this kind of work, and we're going to have to put theatre on the back burner for the first time, and it all just felt it was language that I didn't really understand because I'm like, you work,
and work breeds work,
and work breeds work. But the thing, and this is my point, I have not played a lead since that part in 2016. I've rarely gone up for leads since then. It's a rarity. It's rare. And so this idea of you do that and you did really well in it and you won an award for the role and whatever, and so therefore it's going to lead. I knew, because of what the industry is like for women like me, I was like, it's not going to happen again. And that was actually one of the reasons why I have to write, because I want to play leads. I want to lead narratives. That's just the truth. And it just wasn't coming.
But if the material's not there, then how can you? That's why we need to sometimes create our own forums on our own writing and get it out there.
But that's where America happened for the first time in my career.
Go on.
So I was always really anti going to America, purely because I'm not a thin actress. And I just thought, they go there and they just tell you to lose weight. And
they
I
have
thought,
a specific look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, I fought way too hard to love me as I am now in this country. And that's been hard enough to then go over there and be like, we love you, but literally cut your size in half. That was the main thing. Like body image and all the horror stories I'd heard about Hollywood. And basically, they're having a good time.
No, it's all kicking off in Soho tonight.
Kicking off. And basically, it was a really big, it was so weird because I made my first trip to LA just as the elections were happening.
Oh,
so America, the prospect of working in America became one thing and then another very quickly. But the thing that I found, I audition self-tape for so many more things in the States. Like, actually, I'm so busy taping for leads than I am in the UK. And it's, I sort of, I got the agent, then I got a manager, and then I got an agent, all that sort of stuff. And I thought, it's all too busy, and now it feels really corporate and stuff. But actually, the work that was coming in, I just thought, it pales. UK pales in comparison. And
is the quality still up there, though?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's stuff that you like. But you just say no. I don't put myself in. If I read something I don't like it, I just...
Yeah, there's no point because you're going to just come across as bad.
Nah.
I can't do anything. You can't do anything with that.
Nah. And I learned that when I went to pilot season. I did pilot season twice. So I did it last year for the first time. But again, my fear of, I don't want someone to tell me to lose weight. So I taped from the UK. I didn't go over.
Yeah. And
ended up testing for 2 shows from the UK.
Right.
And so based on that, my American rep rightfully were like, look, all you've got to do is be in the room, and then bam. So I was in the room and half bams. Like I got one job, and then I met with Elizabeth Olsen actually and auditioned for her, and all these brilliant, lovely people walked out, you got the job, and then it just went quiet. And then it was, the network had decided to go with someone else.
Right.
That happened. And like getting really close to stuff. But there I realized, because that is such a machine, reading scripts and going, fuck, I don't want to audition for this because I don't respond to it. I don't really like it. I don't think it's very good. But if I audition for it and then I get it, then I'm signing for 7 years. And So
it's the flip side, isn't it?
I learned to say no.
Well,
that was just this year. I was like, no.
But that's a great power, and it comes up all the time when I talk to actors on here.
Saying no.
Say no.
But do you know what? My manager, though, made a really fucking good point. Because I was, it's not because I think everyone in the States is a monster and is going to tell me to lose weight. It takes a lot of hard work to be a confident black woman in the UK. Like, it's in spite of a lot of things that I'm like the way that I am. And I'm so protective of that infrastructure, I guess. And, but my manager made a really good point. She was just like, Susan, during pilot season, you will audition for more things than you audition for in a whole year in the UK. And she's bang on.
Yeah.
When she said that to me, I went, oh, she's fucking right.
You'll be turning auditions down because you simply can't fucking fit them in.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing. I was like, I literally can't learn stuff. I can't learn stuff in that amount of time. Don't want to do a bad tape. I'd rather not.
And also you got to learn it because it's America.
Yeah, you've got to learn it.
Yeah.
So they did get to a point where I was like, I actually physically can't go in for this. I don't want to embarrass myself. Like, I don't want to meet all these amazing, important people and then be shit in the room. Nah.
Because then you carry that around with you for a couple of days. Oh God, and then it has a domino effect with something else, and you'll take your baggage of that bad meeting into another
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, towards the end of my trip, I was doing that. I was taking my my luggage into rooms.
Are you good at switching off though? Because I know when you've got such an amount of auditions, like when you're doing stuff for pilot, and maybe I don't know, you're doing 4 a day or whatever, something stupid like that, and you're learning loads of pages.
Yeah.
I sometimes find it's easier to forget about them.
Yeah.
Because you just do it and move on. Whereas over here, you put so much time and effort into something. Yeah. You go, well, I've only got 2 days and I've got 14 pages.
Yeah.
And then you go, all right, you haven't even set out.
Well, the rate of stuff for pilot season is just, it's so much that you just forget that you went up for stuff.
Oh, what? Wait, what? I don't remember that.
I don't remember
exactly.
that thing. And I think that's quite helpful. It was so much that I just ended up forgetting. I just forgot. Whereas here it's so
many
few
things going on in your brain.
Which is I think it's quite good because you don't get attached to stuff really in the way that I do get really attached to if the script's good here. I can't help. I know that I was talking about it to a boyfriend where it's like, you've got to gear up for that heartbreak. And I lean into it now. Like when something comes in and I read it, I'm like, fuck, that's good. It's going to break my heart if I don't get this. But here we go. I had that actually this year. So after pilot season, I sort of left and was like, right, that isn't for me. And then I ended up being flown out for 2 shows, which I tested for. And they were both fantastic. They were both really, really good, well-suited, well-written projects. And now the money thing, the thing that I find really hard about testing for stuff is that you basically sign the contract. You sign the contract, I'm going to do, before you go in for your final audition, you sign the contract, yes, Susan Wokoma would love to play this part for this amount of cash. Knowing how much money I'm missing out on is a cruel game to play to a working class person. And now we have a rule as a result of that where I say, I don't want to know.
Because otherwise the stakes just go for you before you step in that room for that final time.
And I just said, look, maybe it seems crazy, but I trust you guys to get me
the best.
Really good. I do. Sometimes you're not repped by people. You do. My lot are sick. So I was like, look, I know you guys, you're going to get me the best deal. So if we're ever in that position again, you don't tell me.
But I think that's smart because you are taking that pressure off yourself and you're just focusing on what you have to do and you have to go in the room and try and do your best. Otherwise, you've got all those figures.
Yeah. And it isn't just about money. It's just literally, it's like, I can give my mum that and I can do that and I can get that. It's not in a fame and fortune way. It's just in a fucking, to live, because it's that expensive to live in London.
Yeah.
And London's my home. That's the thing. It's not, I don't see London as I've got to be in London to be near to my career or my industry. I'm a Londoner.
Yeah, exactly.
And the idea of going, now I have to move out is heartbreaking to me. I feel so safe when I'm in London.
Yeah.
And also the knock-on effect of them moving out is that other places outside of London get more expensive because we're all moving out.
Yeah,
and I'm so aware of that change of, gentrification because it's happened in Peckham. Doesn't fucking look like Peckham anymore. Brixton blows my mind.
Yeah.
Every time I walk down the streets, it's weird. And it's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily bad to make a place better or nicer or to have a fancy coffee shop. I'm not averse to that. It's just when you say we want to make it nicer because the people who originally live here we're pushing them out.
Yeah.
That I have a fucking problem with.
Yeah. It seems to happen in so many different areas all the time.
And I just feel guilty about making that happen somewhere out of London. So when these figures came to me, I was like, oh my God, I'll be able to buy somewhere outright in London. That's what I'm thinking. That's my aim. My goal is to buy my own place. That's it. Beyond that, I'm good.
I've no doubt it'll happen. Susan, thank you so much. That was brilliant. Did you enjoy that?
I did. But I fucking talk too much.
You don't talk too much. And another episode is done. How about that? Ain't she brilliant? I don't think I've only been twice that I may have been lost for words or been so taken aback by a story. And there were certainly moments in that where I was. So, Susan, if you're listening, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on. It was great. It was brilliant. Now, look, the short film that Susan was talking about that she directed is now available on Sky. So go check it out. There's loads of comedy shorts on. Susan's one of them. I've seen it. It's really funny. It is really funny, genuinely. But it's really moving and very heartfelt. I loved it. So please go check it out. She's done a cracking job. And you've done a cracking job because you've joined us. I'm so happy, honestly. We've got the Patreon site, patreon.com/the Two Shot Podcast. Go there, have a look at the video. If you can chuck us a few quid if you like it, what we do, the free podcast once a week. Slip us a few quid, maybe. You don't have to. They're going to be free, but, you know, we do it out of the goodness of our hearts now. Yeah, we do. But yeah, thank you so much. Look, if you can't afford to, again, that's absolutely fine. They'll still be free. That's all happening. We've got some amazing guests coming up. I can't say anything right now, but I think you need to tune in next Thursday. I was so close to telling you next Thursday is, and I can't do it. But I will tell you, it will be, I think a podcast exclusive. And yeah, this one could catch fire, as they say. But I'll tell you, I promise I'll tell you on Monday of next week. What else? Yeah, look, if you can't afford, I know I say it every week, but we don't have sponsorship from anybody, and certainly not sponsorships that myself and Griff would trust and believe in to sort of sell to you. If we're going to have somebody or a company or a brand, we want it to be something that's useful and that we believe in. So until that day, we're just going to be us. Let's all work together. Let's have the conversation. And if we can help in any way, that'll be amazing. If you can't help financially, do us a favour. Go and tell 5 of your mates that they might enjoy the conversations that we had. The more people that listen, then the more the better, isn't it? I'm going to stop. I'm going to go. And I'm going to have a lovely week. And I shall see you next week. I'm very excited about next week. I think you will be. I've got to keep this secret. Right, I'm going. I'm giddy. Thank you so much. Until next week, I've been Craig Parkinson. He's been producer Griff. And this has been the Two Shot Podcast. Take care.
The Two Shot Podcast is presented by me, Craig Parkinson, recorded and produced by Thomas Griffin for Splicing Block. Our brilliant music is courtesy of Then Thickens. Cheers.